So it's
We have worked every possible pun out of every version of IP over the years. Do you know my favourite one, actually? Just quickly, we did a band night. I don't know if you remember, we called it Patents Act.
Yeah.
I was quite proud of that.
I like the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, that was our office. That was our office band, Black Eyed Peas. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think there's nothing left in it.
Lee Davis and Gwilym Roberts are the two IPs in a pod, and you are listening to a podcast on intellectual property brought to you by the Chartered Institute of Patent Attorneys.
So, Gwilym, on the podcast now, this is quite exciting for us because we've always wanted to do a podcast mashup, haven't we?
Yes.
And we've got the opportunity to do it now. Yeah,
Right.
Because we've got one of the world's foremost podcasters.
Indeed,
on the
indeed,
podcast.
it's huge. It is huge.
Yeah. I'm going to now worry about whether I'll get your name right, Willard, because Gwilym told me a little joke before we came into the podcast space. So, Willard Knox, yeah?
Yes,
So,
yes.
So in the UK, we have this saying about coming from the school of hard knocks, and he said, I mean, you
Your
could come from
name
you could
immediately.
come from the school of Willard Knox. So,
Sorry, I wasn't going to share that.
no, I had
I
to.
usually get Fort Knox, or this will probably get edited out. The movie Willard, the famous horror movie from the 70s, which I remember seeing. A guy Willard is the main character, Bruce Davison, brilliant actor.
Yeah.
And he has trained rats who kill, and then of course there was the sequel, equally beloved Ben. Which is the Michael Jackson song.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm going to get fired after recording this podcast, but Ben, the song, Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I was expecting when you said that, I thought, here we go with Willard. I haven't heard it for a while.
The school of Willard
But see,
Knox.
now you know.
Yeah. So welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
We're aware you do a bit of this thing as well, so
Yes.
so you're used to it. Yeah. It's that place to start. I mean, we have a backstory. We have a reason why we started podcasting. It was something that we were always going to do, but then the pandemic came along and gave us the time and the space to do it.
Okay.
Because there we are. Gwilym was stuck in his wherever you were. Luxury attic.
That was my luxury attic.
I was in the garden shed.
I was in my boutique cellar.
Yeah. And it was okay. Let's give this thing a go. Never expecting it to take off. Never expecting to be like 175-ish episodes down the track.
I'm hoping it will take off. Fingers crossed. We've been trying
I think
long
after
enough.
this episode, it's going to go viral.
Yeah, it's
but
gonna-
I don't want to,
could be massive.
toot my own horn.
Yeah.
But
And it's developed over the time. I think I've said this to you before, but I've listened back to some of the early ones, and now what we do now, we're so much more professional. We understand how to make it work for our guests and all that sort of thing. How did you get into it? Well, tell us the INTA story.
So the INTA story started before I was involved. It launched in 2018, and the idea was, I was working there, but they had another podcast host. I don't know. What are you going to do?
Not for long. Where are they now?
Man, exactly.
Yeah.
And you see how that worked out. No, I shouldn't say that. Cut that. But the idea was they wanted to talk about brands, but also innovation.
Yeah.
So the idea was, when I first heard the name, I thought, well, brand new, you always say it's like Etsy or something, new out of the box, like brand new. So they took that, and the clever thing was to throw in the little ampersand and say, well, we're talking about IP and brands, but we also want to educate people about that, but we also want to talk about what's the latest thing. For example, you may have heard a little something about AI. It's getting a little buzz, not too much right now, but it seems to be surfacing as a topic. So, the idea was to kind of cover both those things for IP lawyers. So for preaching to the choir, to say brands are great and we should protect them. Yes, I agree. My clients agree. But also for people who know nothing about IP and or think IP shouldn't exist, or it's a problem, or it's getting in the way, to say you might want to learn a little bit before you have that opinion.
Do you know how I know you're a pro? Because you've been banging the table with your no, but then you stopped yourself.
Yeah,
I saw you.
about this
with your beautiful brass.
Oh, well,
your
thank
beautiful
you.
brass.
Thank you,
But I saw
yeah.
how you stopped that. That's
Yeah.
pro.
So
That's
we're
pro that.
not normally sat around a table with those kinds of things happening.
This
are we?
creaky chair here is horrific. Yeah.
And it's interesting. We do very few of these in person,
Yeah.
do we?
Yeah.
And they're always slightly more difficult to do than the remote ones, because when they're remote, I mean, we can send one of the little messages in the chat bar and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How quickly can we get through this one?
I just remembered I have a loaf of bread in the oven. I've got to go. Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about sourcing guests. How do you identify your targets?
Well, my brilliant producer, who you met earlier, / co-worker, Tracy Ayers, she really does all the sourcing. Although I'm going to take a little credit. I recently found a guest who... right.
That's our opinion.
Yeah. I just love being able to say that, my producer. I found someone that I won't reveal, but I'm hoping we're going to get that person on an episode soon that I had heard and actually at a CLE for the Copyright Society, another IP association, and it was great, talking about music and IP, and I was like, well, this is perfect because of the World IP Day and all that stuff. Yeah. But we put him on hold because we were doing the opposition band, which is the INTA member opposition TM. So really, I just kind of show up. I suggest people, so I hope this person will, I'm pretty sure we will get him / her. Them. I don't want to reveal too much identifying information, but, so she really does that, and then I help out when I can. But it's been great because I just kind of show up, and she tells me, here's the thing, I do some research, I do some planning, but I kind of just go in, do it.
You bring some energy, I can feel that. That's some energy.
Yeah.
To be fair, and ours. So we made this. The idea early on was for it to be a double hand kind of host thing.
From
I'm
episode
kind
2.
of jealous. I don't want to say I'm jealous of it. I have co-hosts, Heather, you met, and we never host together. Yeah. And I love this. I think it just brings a different energy than the.
Well, it balances it out because every now and then one or other of us gets a bit of a dip, and the other one knows and takes it on. You've done it for years.
A bit of a dip.
Like
you
hungover, maybe.
That
never happened.
Total boredom.
Yeah.
Why did we invite this guest?
But also, what works for us, because Gwilym's obviously the cast iron IP professional, patent attorney of many years.
Yes.
A lot of years.
My background isn't IP. I've been with Sleep for 13 years, but my background's education.
I know. I was so interested. I was like, your story is really.
Take over and do some questioning if you want.
No, I was like, it's so. I
love
that.
It's
so interesting. No, it's just like you don't.
Questions.
It's great to see someone who's not, who went a different way.
But it does mean I can ask the kind of elephant in the room questions sometimes. It's that.
Right.
Hang on.
Right.
I don't understand what's going on here. Explain it to me.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Especially when it gets into like the hard tech areas or initialisms and acronyms.
Conversely, when it comes to anything about ethics or morality, I just hand over the lead because I don't understand that stuff at all. It goes well.
So, but we do. You don't do a lot of research, do you? I think it's fair to say.
No.
I do quite a bit of research, so that's the other thing we do. We can sort of make it work that way around.
Yeah.
Got any kind of backroom stories you can share with us?
I wish I did, I was like, I could just make something up, When so-and-so was on, you wouldn't believe. That's not, they all have been really smooth for me so far, so we'll see if that continues to play out, but, and I don't actually know. If something goes wrong, I assume it gets cut. I'm pretty sure there are things that I've said that were not controversial, but as you can tell, I'm a little, chatty. So they're like, okay, we can't do this for 3 hours, so let's cut that section. But it's always kind of fun to see what does make it in. Things that I think, they're gonna, like in the opposition one, which is not to pushing that episode on you, but found out one of the guys, Jason Vogel, also is a biker, motorcycle guy. I was like, woo. So I asked him about that, and he talked about it. That they kept in.
That's cool.
The infringers,
So the opposition one is with the band, you mean?
Yeah, it's with two of the co-founders, Jason Vogel, Richard Disman. I'm going to get that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Who's in Germany?
Right.
Jason's in New York with me. The third guy wasn't able to join us because he was in Asia and it was like 3 a.m. or something. Sure. But yeah, it was a ton of fun,
We saw that we were looking at the list of band members.
It's extraordinary.
Right?
It's an operation.
Yeah.
The operation, not the opposition.
Yeah.
So much going on.
Yeah.
Must make rehearsal quite difficult, I would think.
Well, that's the thing too, especially during COVID. It was like, how did you guys do it? And they have 2 videos out on Zoom. Not Zoom. 2 videos they created, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had the same thing, like.
Oh well, we had that issue because we had an office band in my firm,
Oh,
And
okay.
trying to rehearse, you can't. The lag makes it absolutely impossible. We managed to put one song together, but it took one person almost 24 hours worth of editing to get all the parts to fit together.
Yeah.
So we did that sea shanty though. Didn't you ever saw that?
I did see the sea
We
shanty.
did the sea shanty. That was really good fun actually. Just 4 voices, and that was a lot easier to edit. But yeah.
It's somewhere I can see it? Is somewhere online?
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
absolutely.
I'd love to see it. Yeah.
And also, actually, you both talked. I'm gonna talk. That sea shanty is quite interesting because we were chatting over Zoom in deep lockdown about doing a sea shanty, and then also chatting about all what life was like. And we actually got onto the conversation about what you're going to do when this is over, and that's the song. So it's like a little historical document of what people were talking about. And basically the theme is, we're going to go to the pub. Basically the whole song is, we're going to go to the pub when it's all over. But it's funny listening back to it, because some of the things you were wanting to go to a crowded room, I know is one of the lyrics, and think, gosh, who wants to go to a crowded room? But back then it's like, I want to see people. But anyway.
It's interesting to say that. This is kind of a podcast about Arsenal all of a sudden. Willard, we will let you speak in a moment.
We should talk more.
I think it was the Leeds. We do regional events with our members, and I think it was our Leeds regional event. And I was chatting to one of the members there, and he said, "Do you know what you guys are actually doing on the podcast?" Or what's that? He said, "You're actually making a social history of IP." I said,
Yes, that's interesting.
Yeah. And that all of a sudden I felt a sense of purpose.
About time. No, you're right. As you do, you talk about what's topical, and then actually, I was just here we go. I'm talking again. I was listening into a really good comedy podcast, but they started in deep lockdown as well, and the conversations they were having, it was a different era of it.
Yeah.
That's going to come back, and you'll be able to go to those resources and say that's what was going on.
Right.
So let's get serious about the INTA.
Okay.
And I've learned
My serious voice.
I need to say INTA and not INTA. I've learned that today.
Actually, I thought so too, but I was told by a very senior officer at the organization, who shall remain nameless, she wouldn't care, that you can say both. I always thought it was
debating information.
Now I'm
coming
deeply
in.
confused.
No. Well, the thing was too, like people would say, "I'll see you at INTA," and I thought, well, if it's a trademark, shouldn't you say, "I'll see you at the INTA meeting"?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
See what I'm saying?
no, very good. Yeah.
But
TM.
Yeah,
I think the
become
bottom line is
coterminous,
people are
hasn't
like,
it? Yeah.
we don't care.
Yeah.
Just we want them to go to the meeting.
Why don't we
you
call
know?
it INTA, just to add complexity to the debate?
I would
INTA.
love it.
Like some people call us Kipper.
Kipper, that is. Yeah.
I would love it. Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start a trend. See if it take. Yeah.
Anyway,
You know what?
can I
I'll
get back to
start doing it.
Can I get back to my serious question, please?
Oh yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
If you're going to
Serious.
be a podcast host for a moment.
You interrupted yourself. I'm just
Sorry,
saying.
I did. To be fair, I did. What was my question going to be? It was the word purpose that got me to think about this.
Right.
So we quickly found that what we started off, not as light-hearted, but was never meant to be really serious, was it? It was never meant to be formal, has become for us a central plank of our communications strategy plan. It's now, if we stopped doing it, we would lose something, which is quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it the same at INTA? Has it become strategically important?
I mean, I hope so. For my own sake. No. I think it is, because I think, I was talking to my producer Tracy about this and saying, being a lawyer myself, I mean, lawyers like read all the time, right? And trademark administrators, it's like you're in front of a screen, you're reading, and you're absorbing. And it's so refreshing. I like listen to people talk, do it in a conversational way, even though you both know that it, sounds conversational, but it's rigidly rehearsed. And you could learn something about IP without it being like, it's a nice break. And I think that, to me, that connection, I'm sort of not answering your question, but I'm trying to, the connection with other people, even on a podcast or something, I feel like I learn better.
Yeah.
I'm a freak because, and I'm going to just say it on this, you can leave it in there. In law school, I've been told before, like the Socratic method, oh my God, the paper chase, it's awful. They're going to ruin your life. You're going to be, I thought it was kind of great. And maybe it was the actor in me, but I felt like I learned better that way. Like a conversation was how I learned. I studied all the time. It didn't matter. Having that dialogue or a conversation like this, it's that human connection. You absorb it. So I think to me it is a central plank of the communications platform for INTA, because you got the website, you got the emails. This is something, but this is on Spotify. I'll just mention. since you asked, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, like you can find us in more places, and I think that's a good thing.
And also people can access it. So I tend to listen to podcasts when I'm running or doing a bit of fishing or something like that. It's, and it organically just seems to embed itself in my brain without me needing to do too much.
Yeah.
I've got 3 questions coming out of that little kind of piece that you did there. I know Willem's got one of them written down there, so I'll leave that one. I'll leave that one with you. So
you can read that upside. That's impressive. I can't read that the right way up. That's amazing.
So I'll let you come in a minute. I'll let you speak again in a moment. Okay?
I'm not happy. I'll have a dip.
So there
it is. There's a dip.
There's a dip.
I have to use that later. No, I'm sorry, Tracy. I'm having a dip. I
just moment silence.
Sorry.
So you talked about so we work quite hard at it being a conversation, and sometimes people don't understand how much work there is.
No, it is. It really is.
One of the things that we don't particularly like, but occasionally people come along with, are scripts. Do you get guests that sometimes turn up and they've actually got a script that they're going to work to, regardless of what you ask them?
No.
Wow.
I mean, we usually write them, and I'll send them to people and say like, oh, it's it's just a conversation.
Indeed.
Don't.
We do all of that.
And then I say, but if you veer off of this, we're going to cut it. You'll never appear again. But don't worry about it. No pressure. No, we haven't had that. Wow.
And they
like their own, like here are the things they want to cover.
But they tell us what we're going to be saying as well.
Yeah. These are the questions you're going to ask.
I hope it's nobody I know. That's crazy.
I'm not worried. I'm really.
Send me the names later. I'll be like, uh-oh.
No, it's all right. I don't.
Wow, that's that.
Well, no, because we're very open to it. We just totally go off script.
And we totally go off it. Yeah, it's like, if you come with a script, there's no way we're sticking to it.
But
that's almost a reason to be like, okay.
But the real
process script.
I'm sure some people just say what they were going to say anyway, word for word, or whatever we say. Pretty much, I reckon they just read out what they were going to say. Which I guess is,
really? So if you say like, What's your favorite coffee? Well, actually, a great question. But intellectual property. You're like, wait a minute.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the answer is, you're like, okay.
But the other thing is
that's kind of sad though. That's like there's no fun in that.
You said when I was in law school. So tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your professional background.
I mentioned earlier, I was in theater for many years. I can send you my list of credits. It's short but meaningful.
No, we can ask about that. Keep going. We're coming back to that.
We're coming to that.
I was really a theater person. Loved it. I was actually a triple threat, which is an objective truth. I could sing, I could dance, I can act. I can still sing. So
actually. You're better than Fred Astaire.
Because you can dance.
And could act a little.
Not at that level.
Can we stick to my question? Which was, tell us a little bit about the legal kind of side of the story.
The true story is, there's the official, like what I say to people, but the real truth is I moved to New York to be an actor, and I had friends who are still acting from Juilliard, and they're brilliant. And it's really hard. I used to get mad at my dad. He'd be like, it's going to be a hard life. And I'd be like, shut up, Dad. And then my friends who were doing it with this credential, this amazing experience, it's a life. Like, you really have to commit to it. And I felt like, and they were like traveling all over. And I'm like, traveling?
Okay.
And then you have to sublet in New York. I was like, that just sounds like a lot. So I kind of, I'm being a little flip, but I kind of made my way into law because I thought, well, I had lawyers in the family. So, and of course I always thought, I'm never going to do that. So, it was kind of a natural thing. And I loved writing, which is something I didn't, as an actor, I just didn't really do.
Yeah.
I mean, it certainly turned out to be something that I was beyond what I would have imagined, But I'm sitting here with you guys in part because I went to law school, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the best of both worlds. Like, I'm not practicing. I have my license. I keep that thing because I went through hell to get it.
Yeah.
So I do my CLE because I'm like, I am not going to go that license. But it's great because I don't have the pressure of clients, like real people who want me to do things. But I still have the license. I'm still in the world. And I've been able to use that degree to do other things, which I would not have been able to do with just my honors BFA in acting. So that's been kind of great,
Can I ask you about the acting?
Go on,
it's so cool. So Juilliard, were you at Juilliard? Sorry,
I didn't get in.
What is it? Is that's a fancy drama school kind of thing?
Yeah, very famous. Like a lot of the people, like Oscar Isaac, you may know from the Star Wars and other things. A lot of famous people graduate there. I mean, people who are not famous also, but it's like the Kelsey Grammer.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of sort of, it's sort of like the Harvard.
Okay.
I would say of acting training. I mean, there's Yale. I would like to go in there too, which is Meryl Streep.
Okay.
How much time do we have? Meryl Streep, John Turturro, people like that.
Yeah.
Julia was more like if you want to be a classically trained American actor and do Shakespeare, Kevin Kline,
Oh, really?
Juilliard.
Okay.
Yeah. That was sort of that was the place for the people who would love to be a movie star, but are going to do Shakespeare in the Park.
And so you mentioned that you got a range of talents there. So are you in musical theatre more, or all different stuff? or what?
Since you mentioned, I did a lot of musical theater,
Right.
Because I just completely loved it. Like singing is such a total blast.
Yes.
I did a lot of Shakespeare. I did Iago and Othello, which was.
Okay.
I'm sure I have the local college reviews were very, very. If they're online, which I'd be surprised if they were.
Was it? He was really good till he started singing and dancing. That wasn't in the play.
Came here for legal advice.
Exactly. Oh, I never thought about that when I was in practice. I could have just in court, in New York court, just been like, Your Honor, just breaking this. Can you imagine? I mean, those New York judges would have been like, bailiff, remove him.
That was it.
I was
I was really interested. One other thing, actually.
I did Greek tragedy also, in which I did sing. I did a production of Persians. This is totally going to be cut, right?
No.
we don't cut anything.
An Aeschylus, like the first surviving Greek tragedy, Persians.
Okay.
I played as they did in the original, because there were no women. Because doing women can't do that role. They're too busy doing other things. I did the Queen, and then I did her son. So in the first half I was the Queen, and then and as the son I sang and danced. I mean, it was about death and dying, but you can still sing.
Yeah, you can sing, and you dance just more sympathetically.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
The sad dance. I've got one of them.
You had a question. There was a question brewing and all of that.
Oh, sorry, there was nothing to do with that at all, actually. No, we kind of jumped over a little bit about the name of the podcast, actually. You mentioned the ampersand, but Brand, I was up here in the booth.
Yeah, it is, yes, in the booth.
Yes, there it is.
New. It is quite clever. Not brand new.
Not quite as clever as two IPs in the
No,
pod,
no,
but
nothing.
Oh, I love that. No, I do love that. I'm not just saying it because I'm a guest. I think that is just. Can I say adorable? It really is.
Thank you.
No, it is. It is.
We were quite. Occasionally, you get guests on that are quite prestigious, don't you? We had quite a well-known UK political commentator. Come on.
Yeah.
Because he also he does myth busting and stuff like that, and had done some work around IP. So we had him on to talk about that. And the first thing he said to us was, "This is best name of the podcast."
Thanks.
Yay!
But I think Brandon New is better.
Brandon New is much better. Yeah, it's
I don't diss my own product, but I think you guys are.
Brandon's
And you've got that cute little graphic. I mean, come on.
Whenever I get my glasses done, I have to get the same glasses, so I look like my media image now. It's ridiculous, but yeah. No, it's great. And I mean, Brand and New, it's clever. You see it first with Brand New, and then it jumps into it. It's really done, actually, and it's got meaning as well.
Yeah.
Unlike two IPs in the pod, it's just a good joke.
So we have a backstory which we don't often tell on the podcast about that, and that's that it wasn't our original choice of name.
Oh, yeah.
So we were going to be Idea Soup, if you remember.
Yeah.
It was the.
And you got sued, or no?
Well, no. We found we found that there was someone who was using it on, was it Instagram or something like that. He had a very small number of followers. So we're in the IP space. You're not just going to trample over someone.
Right.
And we reached out and we said, look, we were kind of invested in this. We like the name. Quite happy for you to carry on, but do you mind if we do this? And he said, well, actually, I was thinking about doing a podcast in the future. He never did, but I was thinking about doing a podcast in the future. And we thought, well, we can't do that. So then
But actually, what we came up with is more relevant to what we do anyway.
So it was
we have worked every possible pun out of every version of IP over the years. Do you know my favourite one, actually? Just quickly, we did a band night. And if you remember, we called it Patents Act.
Yeah.
I was quite proud of that.
I like the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, that was our office. That was our office band, Black Eyed Peas. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think there's nothing left now. I'm pretty sure it's all been. We have one with them at James Bond films, but with IP puns on it. And the best one I saw wasn't me. It was somebody who said, because the Dutch for patent is octroy, like Nederlands Octroy Bureau.
Right.
So it's octroy pussy. It was just brilliant.
No, that's just too niche.
All you need to do is know James Bond, IP, and Dutch.
Yeah.
And bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're close to time, Willard.
Okay.
One of the things that I do on the podcast is keep an eye on the clock, which
Thank
is why
you.
I've normally
Thank
kind of
you.
got it running. Willem's now looking at who we've got next. 'Cause
Okay.
we're
Next,
we're
I was
cramming
told
today.
this was going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, this is brilliant.
This is the pinnacle.
Actually,
It's the pinnacle.
should we just drop that mic? Oh, that costs 280 quid.
Yeah,
You're not dropping
do not drop my expensive
You're a
mic.
cheap mic, I can drop.
But so, are you sat there thinking, oh, thank God they didn't ask me that, or I really wanted to talk about this? Is there anything? Is there a piece of the jigsaw missing? Tough question, I know. Sorry.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't. Yeah, there's nothing that I was surprised or bored by in the questioning.
Excellent.
Well, you know what I mean, and this will be obsequious flattery, but it's true. I mean, listening to you guys before, to get ready for this, and listening to you now, I love that, like, you're prepared and you've got your stuff, but the questions they're surprising in like a refreshing way, So yes, it's IP and, but it's like fun, and you guys are really good. And my producer Tracy has told me this before, like. And I interestingly, as an actor, I have trouble a little going off script because I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to cover it all. There's a flow here that I love. Like, you're in it.
Oh, it's so nice.
However the conversation's going, you run with it. But that's not easy in my having done 3 episodes myself. It's actually it's hard to do. And you make it seem easy, but it's actually.
I would say that's what we've got better at, because if I listen back to the earlier ones, it was very much Gwillem's time to ask a question. Whereas now we don't do that, do we? We just kind of...
No, occasionally we'll be messaging off on the sidebar, just say, right, you're up, or whatever it might be. But yeah.
And it does mean
more for continuity.
occasionally we get those tumbleweed moments where both of us think the other's about to speak.
Like that. And we know how each other thinks.
Yeah, which is great. There's like a flow to it. Like, this flow was really great, like it. So I'm going to take that away and try to do that more.
You need a co-host, as in a co-host host.
I know, it does seem like it's really fun.
And obviously, no one knows what INTA's going to be next year.
INTA.
INTA, thank you. And no one knows what INTA is going to be, or what is host going to be pronounced. Hopefully...
I know nothing. I know nothing.
We're enjoying this. I think we should link up and do more together.
We could do something really exciting next year once we know where it is. Yeah.
No. This was a treat. This is a total treat. And an honor. Like, you guys are, again, obsequious flattery, but true, like, you're really good at this. Like, it's... No. I mean, I'm learning a lot. It's really... Oh, no! There was a power outage! Oh, no!
You're not allowed to speak on the podcast. You're the producer.
No, she exists. It's true.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no, really. No, it was a pleasure. It was all mine, really.
And,
this is a blast. Total blast.
The rest
No, really. Yeah. I don't say that. I won't say that to other people around, so trust me, I mean it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.